Alright, so these are the parts that I went ahead and bought. This is the lower control arm. Comes with the new ball joint already in there. Plus the bushings that are already in there. And then I'm also replacing the upper control arm. Comes with both bushings already in there. And then a greasable joint right there. And I can't even push it. And then the hardware. Alright, so I already got it all jacked up. Just put a block in there because the jack won't go high enough to lift the truck off the ground. So now we're going to go ahead and take off the tire. Or I guess we'll start with the upper. So you're going to be taking out this bolt. Let's see if I can get it right there, and then it will slide out that way. Same with this one. Take out the nut on there, slide it out that way. But before you do that, you have to mark the cams for the alignment. Mark the cam here and then right under it so you can line it back up when you go to put it all back together. For the lower control arm, you're going to be taking off that nut right there, and then it slides out that way. You got another one right there. And then what else? We're going to have to take this spring out. You're going to have to use a spring compressor in order to squeeze it together, and then you could take it out the top from here and it slides down and pops out. You're also going to have to undo this up here to get the shock out, and then the bottom right down there, these two. And then since I'm doing both at the same time, I'm taking this knuckle off. So I'll be undoing this right here, the tie rod. In order to get the lower control arm off, you also have to take off the sway bar right here, and then it will pop out through the bottom down here. We're going to also be taking off, you need a pickle fork most likely in order to get in between here and then hit it with a hammer and it'll drop this knuckle off. And then you're also going to need to see if I can get it in the video. So here's your lower ball joint. You're going to undo this nut right here and the cotter pin you take out, and then also use the pickle fork, and you could probably hit it off or maybe even hit this with a hammer, and it might drop. And that's about it. So let's get going. Alright, so first you're going to be taking off this brake caliper right here. It comes off with two bolts, one here and then down below. It's going to be a 18 millimeter.
After you break them free, you can pretty much take them out by hand. One.
Two. And then don't let it hang by this, by the hose. Just put it on something. And then it's not any problem. You're also going to need to take off the bolt right there. So it's going to be a 10 millimeter. Alright, so I guess I'll just go ahead and get started disassembling stuff. I'm going to take this cotter pin out. Really don't like hitting it. Move that out of the way for now. It's got like a plastic grommet up at the top. I'll just show you. This little white plastic grommet up at the top, that's where we're gonna be unattaching it. Now that it's free from up there, you can see it's right here. You're just gonna detach that. There we are. So you're gonna start by taking this cotter pin off. Now when you do this, you're not going to want to back it off all the way. Leave it on there. Just a little bit, I guess flush, you could say. And because I'm not going to be reusing this, I'm just going to hit it up with a hammer. Because I'm replacing the entire upper control arm. But if you were not going to be replacing it, for whatever reason, don't hit it. Just use the pickle fork. There, and it's broke free. Now you can continue backing it off. I'm going to leave it on there though until we're done with the lower control arm. Once again, you have to start by taking the cotter pin out. So for the lower control arm, the lower ball joint, it's a 15/16. At least that's what works for me. And always make sure you have jack stands. I don't know if you can see the jack stands in the picture right now, but I have jack stands under there. So same thing like before, you're gonna take it off until maybe go flush with the bolt and the nut. Now I'm gonna use the pickle fork again to break it loose. And you can either rent pickle forks or you can just buy them. I just bought mine because it was only $10.99. Got it at like, I don't know, Kragen or no, O'Reilly. O'Reilly bought Kragen. Used to be Kragen. I just smashed my knuckle. I don't know why I just didn't think of this. Just hit it from the bottom, we're not reusing it. So maybe you don't need a pickle fork. Just hit it from the bottom if you're going to be replacing it. Now we're ready to remove this entire knuckle right here. So what you're going to do, you're going to unscrew the castle nuts. I don't know where the nut just went, but it's loose. There it is. So this is the ball joint down here. Lower control arm ball, the lower ball joint. Should not be able to really move that like that. And it's actually notchy. It's weird, like it's not fluid. And then up here, this one wasn't as bad but I'm going to replace it anyways because I don't want to go to all this work and then still have problems with my tires wearing. So it's okay though. But I bought the part anyways. This one's bad though. And then this one's still solid. I can't even move it that much. Alright then, we'll finish it off. Alright, so now I'm going to take off the upper control arm. So before we do that, we need to mark these cams right here and right here. I'll usually mark it on both sides just in case. And then I just use this. Can't even remember where I got it. Just marks on any surface. I think I found it somewhere. But it's like a red tip. But you could use whatever, white out. It doesn't matter. I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera, but I marked it. And you're just wanting to mark the cam and also to the metal that's on the truck. The frame, I guess you could call it. I don't know. And you can mark it anywhere as long as you just line it up correctly when you put it back. Go ahead and do the other side. Oh, and it's right in my camera. Alright, I'll just do this carefully, not to hit the camera. And then when this comes apart, you have a cam, this cam, and this is what we marked in the red. I don't know if you can see it. So don't screw it up about which cam goes on which side. And then you also have a washer. There's this side. And I just put it back together right now, and it only goes one way. As you can hopefully see, this is flat on this end. Just put it back on so you don't lose it. And this is to the left. I feel like something's stuck. Like it shouldn't be. Why is this so difficult right now? There. There's two. And I'll just... Did I have an extra? Oh no, that was the... I guess this is part of the bushing. That sat on... Yeah, that sat on there. That might be one of the reasons my truck was squeaking when I went over speed bumps. Oh well. Next we're gonna take off this bolt up here. So in order to do this, you need a wrench down here, and you're also going to need a Allen wrench that fits in the top. Stick your Allen wrench in there, and then I can't find it. It's a 19, I believe, for me, but it's not wanting to. I can't find my 19. Yeah, I'm going this way. Okay, so I'm having to take this off. This is the sway bar that mounts to the lower control arm. I'm having to take it off because as I'm letting out this the shock up at the top to undo it, to drop it through, this lower control arm is just bottoming out, and I really need to put a jack under here in order to take that out up at the top. But I'm just relieving the pressure off this, so. There you go. That was on the bottom. There. There you go. So I guess this piece just fits over like that. And then this is the piece at the bottom. Screws on like that. And that holds your sway bar on to the lower control arm. So right now I'm just taking off the bottom two bolts to the shock, and then it should drop right out. It's a 13 millimeter socket. There we go. It's out. Alright, so the easier way that I found is to just keep the jacket back up and then put the spring compressor in once it's already compressed, so you're not wasting all that time. Then once it's compressed, by using the jack, you're going to put your spring compressor in. Ooh, it's right there. That is not good. It's on my bump stop. Anyways, don't let that happen. But yeah, compress it, and then once you're ready, let the jack down and then take it out. Alright, so now that it's compressed, now what we can do, just push down a little bit, there you go, on your arm. Alright, so I'm going to start replacing this right here. What I'm going to do is I have a 1/2 inch ratchet, and I have a 15/16 socket. I know it's this one. Oh, it might not work. It ain't gonna work. I don't have a deep socket. Oh, come on. Well, I don't have deep sockets that big, so it looks like we're going to use one of the crescent wrench, which really isn't that great. We're going to be turning up. Get it on there nice and snug, or else you're going to risk stripping it, and then put it on your pipe. It's probably off. one's off. Now we're gonna do this one right here. One. Two. There we go. This is probably going to be one of the worst parts, is getting this thing back in. I had to use a crowbar on the other side. I don't know what I'm going to try here. Because as you can see, oh, this one isn't even that bad. The other side was so much worse. Let's see. See, that was nothing. You just gotta line them up though. Whoops. Let's try it again. Talk about easy. My left side, it probably took me at least a half hour of fighting it. Not bad at all. Now you just gotta line them up and stick the bolts in. One. Left side's in. This went so much smoother. But not all the way. At least not yet. So put it in the same way you took it out. Don't position this near your face in case it goes off. Pull your jack in. Probably help if I had another person, but it's okay. Ooh, man, that just smashed my finger. That hurt. That hurt. Oh well. Let's jack this thing up. Get it done. so everything, all this compression is being held up by the spring, or by the jack. So don't let the jack go, or else your spring's gonna come out. So now we're gonna put the shock back on. All right, there we go. Put it on. Oh, my screws are over there. There we go. I think this was a 13 at the bottom, I think. Yeah. Okay, so I've removed my jack. Next thing that I'm going to do is be reinstalling the sway bar link. So it goes through like that, feeds through to the bottom, take this, screw it on. There we go. Feels pretty good, and it's on there. So I'm going to install the Zerk fitting. Got my new control arm here with the ball joint in there. So, and remember you marked your cams red. I marked mine with red. So now it's time to line it all back up with the frame marks that you made. So you just push it right in there. Put your washer on. Take your cam, it only fits in one way, has a slot at the bottom. Or the top, I guess you could say. So in order to line them up, what I do, don't touch the nut. You're going to move it from the bolt side. And it'll actually move the cam wherever you need it. So I'll tighten it up. We'll torque it later. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the knuckle back on. It's pretty heavy to lift up with one hand. And you just screw it on. Now it's back together. Go ahead and tighten it back. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and tighten up this the tie rod end. We're going to torque it down. Okay, so here's the lower ball joint that I'm going to be torquing down. It's 1 1/16. Once again, the cotter pinhole lines up. So I'm going to be tightening or torquing down the upper control arm, or the upper ball joint, I should say. The torque specs are, I think, 56 to 76, somewhere in that range. Now we need to plug this in. It routed back up here. So I just got done spraying this down with just some brake cleaner. Just make sure it's clean before you put the pads back on, because you just touched it while installing that, so you probably have a bunch of grease all over it. Alright, so now all I have to do is put on the tire. So yeah, hopefully that helped you guys. One thing you're probably noticing is that I never torqued down the, it would be the lower control arm bolts, the large bolts that fit through. We just tightened those up, but now that the truck is fully sitting on the ground, you're going to have to, it requires the truck to be, what would it be, at ride height. So you can do that as, you can lift it up with the jack, or you can put the tire on like I did, and then go ahead and torque down the bolts to the specifications. And let me see, I'll give you the specifications. So it says lower control arm to the frame pivot bolts, 2000 and earlier models, is 197 to 241 foot-pounds. And then if you have a 2004 to 2006, it's 199 foot-pounds. So go ahead and torque those down, and then that should be it. Please let me know if you like this. This is my first video recording myself working on my truck, and the only reason I did it was because I wasn't able to find other YouTube videos that really went through the entire process. So hopefully that helps you guys. Let me know.